comfortable shoes in the lab, with the exception of your adventure strap being put to the back of your foot. This and open-toed shoes will not be accepted. If you have short hair or you have longer hair as a young man, you'll need to wear a hairnet. If you have short hair that doesn't go into a ponytail, you'll need to wear a hairnet, just like Madison here. See how she's tucking it all in? We don't want any of it hanging out. And it does not go over your ears, it goes behind your ears, just like John's. Okay. And here we have how to put your hair up in a ponytail. You can go either down low or up high, but it needs to be a sports pony, no ponytail swinging. Or in a bun, just like so. And when we're done with the lab, you take out your hair in the hallway, not in the classroom. In the foods lab, we wash our hands with soap and water with 1 pump of the soap from the wall or a dispenser. Washing our hands thoroughly. With no more than 3 pumps from the paper towel. Turning off the faucets. Double checking to make sure there's no water on the counters. And then throwing our trash in the trash can respectfully. Here we have an example of how to do your hair. It may not have to be quite this high, but we always want to have our hair up and away from our face and our aprons on. But if we touch our clothing or our hair, uh-oh, looks like you need to go wash your hands again. We're going to talk about washing dishes. In our sink, we have a scrubby brush filled with soap. Sometimes the soap is not in the scrubby brush. If that's the case, you can always just use a little bit of the dishwashing soap. Now we're going to turn on our water. Make sure that it's the hottest that we can stand, which means it's probably going to have a little bit of cold water. Now we're going to wash dishes, making sure that we scrub everything nice and clean. Here today we have a cutting board and it's a flat surface. Just going to get it nice and clean and rinse it off. Nice hot water. All items that we clean off, we want to make sure that we put them on the other towel to the right to dry. Correct. Uh-oh, that's not right. We want to make sure that it drip dries so that air circulates around it. She's got a few more dishes to wash. Making sure that anytime we clean a measuring cup and we get all of the flour or salt or sugar or oil out of it. This is why we use hot water, not just to kill pathogens and foodborne illness, but also to make sure that we release all of the oils. Notice how she props it up so that air can circulate underneath it. Sometimes you just have to be creative. We don't like opening our drawers and finding dirty utensils. When we wash spoons or measuring spoons, we make sure to keep the bowl upside down, but we also prop it up so that water can drip right out of it. All of our dishes are utilized from lab to lab, so we want to make sure that whatever we do, we clean everything well. And when you're done, you place the scrubby brush right in the center of the left sink that does not have a garbage disposal. Once you're done and all the dishes have air dried, we'll take a white bar towel over to our dishes and dry them off the rest of the way, and then place them back on the mise en place table. When we're all finished washing dishes at the end of every lab, we want to make sure that we fold the towel and just leave it to the right or the left of the sink for the next class, because we use that solely to drip dry our dishes. Then you take your white bar rag and you clean your cabinets and your countertops and your faucets and all the water that might be back behind the sink. Check your sink to make sure there's no food left inside the sink. Rinse it out if it is. When you're all finished, you're going to take your bar towel over to the dirty clothes bin, which is not normally under a ladder, and place it in the bin. Perfect. When we're cooking in the kitchen, and if you have painted fingernails or fake fingernails, you need to make sure that you are putting on gloves. Another thing we want to avoid is all of this pretty jewelry. Please make sure that you bring a bag with you to class to put your jewelry in. When you cook, you wear gloves. But only after you've washed your hands. We also want to avoid wearing long necklaces or lanyards while we're in the kitchen, or wearing large earrings. Folding the aprons after a lab, you need to fold it in half at the apron strings, and then you can lay it flat, lining up the apron strings side by side, folding each side in halfway to create a French door. Now fold it like a hot dog, smooth it, fold it like a hamburger, and restack it on the table with the rounded edge facing out. After a lab, we always make sure to sweep the kitchen and around our prep tables. If you cannot do it by yourself, ask a friend to come over with the dustpan to clean up the refuse from the floor, and very carefully take it to the trash can. Trying really hard not to do it by a table where there are dishes. Trinity will demonstrate where the brooms go after a lab. Right here in the corner next to the fire extinguisher where it says brooms. We never, ever, ever wear an apron into the bathroom. That is very unsanitary. So see how she's pushing her sleeves to wash her hands? We don't push our sleeves up in the lab or wear a backpack. Instead, we roll sleeves, and if the sweater is too long and too big, we simply remove it for the lab. Well done. Now, when we're in the kitchen, we're not supposed to be playing around, messing around with the sinks or towel snapping, and you're not supposed to be doing any gum. No gum allowed in the lab.